All right, stop what you are doing right now, because what you are about to read is the kind of story that makes you put your phone down, look up at the ceiling, and say, absolutely not, this cannot be real. But it is real, every single detail of it. And by the time you get to the end, you are going to understand exactly why this story has the entire internet losing its mind, and why people who do not even follow celebrity news cannot stop talking about it. Welcome to Pop Showroom, where we bring you the stories behind the headlines. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now, because this story goes deeper than anything you've seen in the mainstream media. It started at the Met Gala. Now, if you already know what the Met Gala is, good, stay with me. But if you have ever wondered why people go so crazy over a fashion event every single year, let me paint you a picture. The Met Gala is not just a party. It's not just celebrities showing up in wild outfits and posing for cameras. It is the most exclusive, most powerful, most theatrical gathering of famous people on the face of this earth. You cannot buy your way in with just money. You need to be somebody. You need to have earned your seat at that table through talent, influence, cultural impact, or some combination of all three. The guest list reads like a directory of every person who has shaped music, film, fashion, and culture over the past decade. Security outside is so tight it looks like a presidential visit. Inside, the energy is electric, expensive, and charged with the kind of tension that only happens when the most ambitious people in the world are all in one room together, dressed like they just stepped out of a fever dream. That is the world we are stepping into. That is the stage where this story was born. Grace Ann Nader was there that night, and before you ask, yes, she belongs in that room. Grace is a model who carries herself with the kind of quiet confidence that does not scream for attention but somehow gets it anyway. She is the type of woman who walks into a space and something in the air shifts, not because she is trying to make that happen, but because it just does. At an event like the Met Gala, where every single person in the building has been professionally styled, lit, and prepared to look their absolute best, standing out is genuinely difficult, and yet somehow Grace managed to do exactly that. She was not performing, she was not running around collecting photo opportunities, she was simply being herself, and apparently that was more than enough. Now, enter Bad Bunny. And listen, if you need me to explain who Bad Bunny is, we need to have a longer conversation, but let me give you the short version anyway. His real name is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, and he came out of the streets of Puerto Rico and did something that nobody in the music industry fully saw coming. He refused to play by the rules. He did not water down his sound. He did not switch to English to chase a bigger audience. He did not bend himself into whatever shape the industry told him he needed to be. He showed up completely himself, rapping and singing in Spanish about real things, real feelings, real life, and the world did not just accept it, the world went absolutely crazy for it. He became the most streamed artist on Spotify, multiple years in a row. He sold out stadiums across every continent. His face has been on the cover of every major magazine. He has acted in films, he has walked runways. He is the kind of person whose cultural footprint is so large that it is genuinely hard to measure. So now you have Grace Ann Nader, one of the most striking women in that building, and Bad Bunny, one of the most powerful entertainers alive, and they are both at the same event on the same night, surrounded by hundreds of the most famous people on the planet. The combination alone is enough to make your pulse pick up a little. But here's where the story stops being about celebrities at a fancy event and starts being about something much more raw and much more real. According to Brooks Nader, who is Grace's sister, Bad Bunny did not send someone over. He did not have a publicist reach out. He did not slide into a DM later that night from the safety of his phone screen. He walked up to Grace Ann Nader himself, face to face in the middle of the most photographed event of the year, and asked for her phone number. Brooks told the whole story to Page 6, which for anyone who doesn't know is one of the most read celebrity gossip columns in existence, and she told it with the kind of energy you only have when you are genuinely excited about something that happened to someone you love. Let that moment sink in for a second. Bad Bunny, at the Met Gala, walked up to a woman he wanted to talk to and simply asked for her number. No games, no layers of people in between, just a direct, confident human move. And in a world where everyone at that level is surrounded by teams of people specifically designed to keep the messiness of real human interaction at arm's length, that kind of directness hits different. It says something about the man behind the music. It says that whatever you see on stage, whatever persona gets projected onto magazine covers and through speakers in arenas, there is still a real person in there who sees something he is drawn to and does something about it without overthinking it. Now, let's talk about what happened when this information hit the public, because that part of the story is its own whole drama. The internet absorbed this news and then immediately exploded. Comment sections filled up within minutes. TikTok creators were stitching together reaction videos before the ink was even dry on the Page 6 article. Twitter was doing what Twitter always does, which is take a piece of information and run it through every possible interpretation simultaneously. Some people were excited and rooting for whatever this could become. Some people immediately brought up his previous connection to Kendall Jenner, the famous model and television personality he was linked to for a significant stretch of time, whose relationship with him played out in the public eye in ways that kept everyone guessing right up until it didn't. Some of his most passionate fans were in their feelings, protective in the way that only truly devoted fans can be, feeling somehow personally involved in who their favorite artist chooses to spend time with. And then there were the people who were just purely entertained, sitting back and watching the whole circus unfold with a smile, because this is exactly the kind of real-life drama that no screenwriter could manufacture. But let's not get so caught up in the internet's reaction that we lose the thread of the actual story, because the actual story is where the real juice is. Think again about the environment where this happened. The Met Gala is not a low-stakes environment for anyone inside it. There are cameras at every angle, there are reporters cataloging every interaction, there are publicists hovering near their clients, monitoring every conversation and every photo opportunity. There are stylists making sure every visual moment is controlled. In a space like that, almost everything that happens between famous people happens with a level of calculation and awareness that most of us never have to deal with in our everyday lives. Every handshake can become a headline. Every conversation can be turned into a story. The pressure to be curated, to be controlled, to be professional and appropriate and careful is enormous. And in the middle of all of that, Bad Bunny saw Grace Ann Nader and decided to be human about it. He did not calculate the optics, he did not consult anyone, he just moved. That's the detail that keeps pulling people back to this story, because it cuts through all the glamour and all the performance and reminds you that at the end of the day, famous or not, people are still just people trying to connect with other people they find interesting. Grace herself has handled the whole situation with a kind of cool grace, no pun intended. She has not rushed to make statements, she has not gone on social media to confirm or deny or add dramatic commentary. She has simply let the story breathe and exist on its own, which in this age where everyone feels the pressure to immediately respond to everything in real time, is actually a power move of the highest order. The person who controls the narrative is almost always the person who speaks last, or in some cases, the person who chooses not to speak at all and lets everyone else do the talking for them. What this story really comes down to, when you strip away all the celebrity context and all the glamour and all the internet noise, is something ancient and deeply human. A man saw a woman, he was drawn to her and decided to do something about it, and the entire world found out about it, because the world cannot help but be fascinated by the private moments of public people, especially when those moments feel real instead of staged. Whether this turned into something more, or whether it stayed right there in that hallway at the Met Gala with nothing following it but a saved contact and a few exchanged messages that led nowhere, we may never know. And honestly, maybe that is the best part, because the imagination is always more powerful than the confirmed answer. The mystery is what keeps people coming back. The not knowing is what makes the story live longer than it would if every detail got explained away in a press release. What we do know is this: Bad Bunny moved. Grace was there. Her sister told the world. And now everyone is watching to see what, if anything, comes next. The story is alive. It is breathing. And in a world that moves as fast as this one does, a story that makes people stop scrolling and actually feel something is rare enough to be worth paying attention to. So keep your eyes open, because with these two, something tells me this is far from over. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this situation, so please share your opinions in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on this story.